In today's video, I'm going to be going through why a very common thing that a lot of people do and feel that will help their business move forward is the one thing that's going to keep you stuck, make your business drown and fail. And that is, in effect, having multiple marketing strategies, multiple marketing funnels, and or having multiple product offerings. Now, most people tend to think, all right, cool. So on your website, you should have, the high, medium, low packages, different prices, different offerings, something that's like got A, B, and C, and something's got A, B, and C plus X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. Now, I'll touch on this piece first and why having multiple products is like the worst thing you can do. Now, I'm sure you've all been to, cafe, restaurant, fast food chain, whatever it might be, and you look up at the board or you look at the menu and it's just like, there's like 200 things on there, right? 100 things on there, 50 things on there, 20 things on there, whatever it might be. And you're there and you're like, I know I want chicken, but they've got like 8 different variations of chicken. And then, you're at the restaurant, you're looking at the menu, the waiter comes over and says, oh, so have you decided what you want yet? You're like, sorry, can I have 5 more minutes? They go away, they come back and you're like still undecided, you're not sure. And it in effect confuses and slows down and creates blockages through the buying process. Right? Now, whether that's on a sales call, whether that's on your website, whether that's on a pricing sheet, whatever it might be, when you give too many options, it creates confusion and it forces the prospect to have to logically think and expend energy and time and brain matter to decide which one they want. Right now, and once again, you've probably been at restaurants either yourself or with people you've been with where they'll choose one of the types of the chickens and then halfway through as they place the order, they're like, damn, I wish I chose that one. And when the plate comes out, they're like a little bit upset because they were thinking this and they flip and change and whatever it might be. It is very difficult for the human brain to go through it. It creates a lot of mental load, right? And so most people just stay stuck, stay stagnant, and don't end up making a decision. Now, the example I gave at a restaurant, you're kind of forced because the waiter or waitress keeps coming back. But whether it's a website or a sales call, what will generally happen is the person will either leave the website and go, I'm going to think about it all night, all day tomorrow, try and figure out what package it is, and they'll do that for a day. They'll forget about it. Something else will come in life and they're gone. Or if it's on a sales call, the person, if you just literally just pitch packages and you're like, I've got A, B, C, the price is this, that one includes this, that one includes this, that one includes this. The answer you'll generally get is, cool, amazing. Let me think on that. I'll see which one I'm going to choose and I'll get back to you. And then the person never comes back. Why? Because they think about it for a day, then they get busy and they move on to something else, right? So you lose a potential prospect or a client to actually, you could have changed their life and you end up getting no clients and changing no one's life, which is like the worst thing you can do as a coach or a business owner, right? Not actually help anyone and not get any clients and any cash flow. So it's the worst of both ends. So ideally what you want to have is one offering. Now, that doesn't mean you can't customize that offering when speaking to someone, right? It's very different to have like one package and the person to say, all right, cool, the price is that, and that includes A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And the person might say, oh, that sounds amazing, but I don't really know if I need X. And then you can go, okay, cool. Well, based on that, I can do the same package excluding X, and that sounds like a perfect fit. Would that allow you to move forward? And they go, yes. Okay, cool. So you can be flexible after communicating the one offering, but it is still the same thing. And it streamlines the process. You get lots less people saying, great, let me think about it. You get a lot more people saying, amazing, how do we move forward? Which is what it's all about. Now, in addition to that, the most common thing I see in businesses that stops people, very intelligent people, hardworking people, never allows them to hit the goals or the level they should be at, is when you have too much going on, right? Simplicity is the key. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Some people I speak to, they're like, I've got two marketing funnels, a lead magnet, and an upsell, and a tripwire, and all this sort of stuff. I read this book, and I listened to this podcast and this YouTube thing, and so I downloaded that, and I did this and did it. And in effect, you've got too many things happening that you don't know what to double down onto and what to reduce your focus on, so you never actually get anywhere. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. I spoke to a client who had two amazing funnels, right? And they're like, they're both kind of working, but I don't know where to go from here, because like I've kind of got them running at a low level. They both seem to be working, but I don't know which one to do, and I'm continually optimizing both of them, and so on and so forth. And it's like, the answer in effect would be just to throw one in the bin and ride one that's working, right? And put 100% of focus, 100% of scale, and 100% of energy at one thing that's working, rather than being split across two things that are working, because ultimately each piece will only get 50% or less of energy, time, and focus, and neither of them will actually hit the level where they could or should be, right? So having two working things is actually worse than having one working thing. It sounds counterproductive, sounds almost backwards, but once you get one thing working, ride that as far and as hard as you can, right? Do not, a lot of people will go and get something working, and they'll be like, but I need to start working on a backup option, a plan B, or whatever it might be. Do not do that, because ultimately the first thing that's working will never hit or reach the capacity of where it could get to if it had full energy and focus, right? So one thing, full energy focus, will always beat two things that have split energy and focus, even though they might both be working. It is like a gift and a curse. They both work, but in effect, neither of them will actually get to the level they should, because of split focus and energy. It's the same thing with multiple businesses. It's the same thing with multiple assets, websites, so on and so forth. So your focus as a business owner is to get something that works and have it work to the level or reach the level where it can and should be at, right? And to do that, your job as a business owner is to cut away complexity. Your continual focus every single day within your business should be to sit back and see complexity within your business, and see messiness and see inefficiencies, and cut things away so that the few things you're left with can have mass efficiencies and hit the level that they can and they should be at. So hopefully that makes sense. If you are interested in reading books, there's one right up here. You can't see the name, but I'll explain it. It is a book called Simplify, and it basically talks about businesses that are able to really hit their strides. Like an example, that's Apple, right? It's one of the biggest businesses in the world. I think it was the first $1 trillion business, something like that. And it wasn't, they went really well in the early days, and then they tanked. And then they more recently have just blown up, right? And doing some amazing things continually. And it was because they actually, in the early stages, they had one client, they had really one kind of product, and they're able to scale. And then they expanded, and they became too confusing to the market. Now, it was still an incredibly competitive and oversaturated market with all these other companies, Microsoft, so on and so forth. But they were able to realign everything, simplify, reduce their product offering, reduce what they did, and do those things freaking well. Freaking amazing. Do few things amazingly rather than do too many things subpar, right? And that's what allowed them to retake over the competition, grow at a ridiculous rate, charge higher prices, have higher profitabilities than all their competitors, because they effectively simplified. And they said, we are creating machines and computers for this type of person. We're only going to have a small product range, and everything's going to be beautiful, very simple, very clean. And as a result, they're able to just blow up again, right? And they are where they are today. So Simplify, a book, I think Richard Koch is the author. If you are interested in reading books, I would highly recommend that one. But if you're not, take the learnings from today's session, today's video, in regards to your sole focus, or one of your primary focuses as a business owner, every day is to see complexity and cut complexity, to create and make your business more efficient and more simple every single day. 1% better every day. A month from now, everything will be streamlined and you'll be hitting your strides and getting to the level where you should. So cut things away. Do not try and have plan A, B, C, D, E, right? Get plan A to work, right? Focus on that, put full energy to it, and ride that in its most simplest format possible. Hopefully this helps. And I generally find this is for the personalities who like to tinker with things. There's certain personality types. It's generally what's called a mechanic personality type. Someone who likes building things, enjoys tinkering with things or whatever it might be. To those types of personality types, it is a strength, but the biggest weakness is you're always tinkering and you create complexity, right? What you need to do is you need to reel that in and focus on simplification, right? Simplifying things, and really that is when you're going to see the level of success and impact in clients' lives that we all want. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you take a lot of value from this video and implement what I'm saying over the coming weeks. And you will see, like, as I said, you will see a mammoth more amount of success, growth, effectively doing less. Cheers.